everybody, welcome back to my channel. I do apologize for the lack of videos over the last few months, but I'm back on my birthday, February the 1st, to post a brand new video with my brand new present. It's excellent. Oh well, but I'll get to the video. So as you can see, I have a box of staples out, a small 100mm beaker, and a 500mm beaker filled up with, or partially filled with, the solution of copper sulfate, which you can see on the screen is that. And I will expect this at the end of a few hours. This is a paper clip that I've already done for to try. And my next present will be a scope to magnify this so you can actually catch it on camera. But sadly, I can't. If you heard that moment of silence, my GoPro just suddenly decided to stop working on me, but I got it to work again. So this is an iron paper clip plated with copper. Now, I did not use electrolysis, for those of you who don't know. I plan to use these staples, which came out of my stapler, for this video. Excuse me there. I will be starting with these so-called plastic atoms, and I'll try to make the copper sulfate ion. So I'll first take a sulfur ion, which is resembled by yellow, and I'll set it down right here so that you guys can see it. Oops, it rolled away on me. Okay. There we go. That camera just stopped working on me again. But this is the sulfur ion, and I need 4 oxygens. Well, not 4 oxygen. This is oh, it appears I've got the wrong image. Here it is. This is the image. It's 1 sulfur that is connected to what I think is some oxygens and copper. So I will take out this, and alright, this is a metal ion, but I will not be using that. I will be using the bromine. I think I'll be using the bromine ion. It's a bit smaller, but it should work. I'll need a few of those bromine ions. Okay. I took out 5 of them. I think that's enough. And I'll take out some molecular bonds. I'll be taking out. Let's try these. Let's see if they work. So here's one part, and I'll keep working on it, and I'll keep on explaining about copper sulfate if you don't know. I did not use the electrolysis, as I said, on the copper for plating, but instead I merely threw it in copper sulfate because, for those of you who don't know, on the reactivity list of elements, copper is actually one of the not so reactive elements. You know what I mean? So iron, on the other hand, is more reactive than copper and will gladly switch its spot. So here is my sample, which is what I made with the bonds right here. Okay, so this is what I suppose is copper sulfate. I use bromine because it's copper colored. Don't judge me, please. So I'll stick this back in the non-metals bag, and I'm taking a look at this chart right now, and yeah. So this chart explains all about the what's inside. for the contents, and I'm going to go on my computer again and search up iron structure. Okay, I'm gonna go up the atomic structure. Not what I was looking for. No. Okay, I'm gonna search up iron bond and see what I get. So, never mind. I'll just use these. This is, let's say that this is iron. And I think iron is supposed to be by itself, if you write it out, I reckon it is iron 2. So let me stick this one in, and there you go. I have iron. I might be wrong, but this is what I think, because I got from memory. So I'll be setting this aside. So, okay, I'm going to take out my little beaker. I'll put this here. Say, this copper sulfate molecule is very small for those people. For people who don't know, so I'm just going to say it's in the beaker. So, okay, I might need something a bigger for this. So, let's take a look here. Aha. Okay. I found myself a box, which one of my friend gave to me for as a little container, which I can use. So let's say that this copper sulfate is, like to say, it's all over this container. It's liquid right now. So it has water ions on it, but this one doesn't. So, and this is everywhere. And I put in this piece of iron in there. And so because copper is less reactive than iron, the iron will actually switch spots with the copper. So the copper sulfate turns into copper metal, and the iron turns into iron sulfate, which dissolves into solution. So why not I change that for you, so that you can get a better visual understanding of this thing. So I put up the box there, and I'll stick my beaker under my GoPro so you can see what I'm doing. And so this is copper sulfate. This is iron. So when iron reacts with this thing, iron gets plated in copper, and the iron, so there's a hole on one of my pieces of iron. So I'll stick in one of these connectors into the hole, and then I'll take out my spare piece of bromine, which now I say it's copper. So it forms something like this, but it gets all covered in copper, for those of you who don't know. And it turns into this, a copper covered iron object. So this iron gets connected to copper, forming a layer of copper on the iron. And okay, and meanwhile, while that's reacting, the copper sulfate slowly gets changed into what's this, which is iron sulfate. There's still some copper pieces there, but yeah, I have major OCD, so I'm just going to switch these out, and I'll put that there. So after a couple of hours, this is what will be left in solution, iron sulfate. So meanwhile, while that iron is turning into iron sulfate in the solution, the copper deposits out as metal, so that lands on the iron particles, creating a layer of copper. So I think that's quite easy enough to understand. This copper sulfate becomes iron sulfate, and instead of iron on the paper clip, you get copper. So let me give a demonstration on how that's done. So I'm going to put this thing on here, and I will stick my beaker on. I'm going to take off this piece of paper. I'm going to pour out some of this solution. Let's say 100 milliliters, all right? So this is what we'll be expecting after a couple of hours. Something that is merely plated in copper. It's still magnetic, but just barely. And it's, as you can see, it's broken. Copper is much softer than iron, as you guys all know. So, meanwhile, I'm going to stick these ions up here. Give you guys a better view. And I'm going to take out a couple of staples. And I'm going to manually put them into the solution. And I'm going to get a pair of chopsticks, and I'll make sure they are all spread out evenly. There we go. So that is copper sulfate for you guys, and here is something that I want to show you guys. So you see that iron paper clip plated in copper? Here's a staple that's been plated in copper. I don't think it's very clear with the camera, but it is plated with copper. And so is this one. The layers are falling off, as you can see. And this is a metal rod. It is slightly magnetic, and it just barely picks it up. Yep, it's just barely magnetic. It's really cool stuff to play with. My GoPro keeps turning off on me. It's being really annoying. But as you can see, this is copper sulfate. And I'll give you guys ooh. Look at that. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but the iron's already started to be played with copper. See, it's starting to lose its shine. The one over there is already almost completely lost its shine there. And so is the one on the bottom. So, there you go. Copper sulfate turns to copper and iron sulfate. Thank you guys all for watching. I really appreciate your time that you spent with me. And as always, this is Ethan Science, and hope you guys all have a fun time experimenting at home. And P.S. Don't make things dangerous.